Welcome to the Crystal Coach Show with me, your host, Anahata, helping you live every day with clarity, guidance, and practical wisdom. Are you feeling overwhelmed, anxious, maybe disconnected? Do you ever feel like you don't know how to live a life of peace and joy? I am Anahata Roach, the Crystal Coach, and during this show, we channel divine wisdom through stories of service, spirituality, and stones for self-care. The Crystal Coach Show leaves you with a feeling of connection and the clarity that takes towards becoming the best version of yourself as you hear from thought leaders and many others to help you ignite the crystalline nature of who you really are. Stay tuned. The Crystal Coach Show starts now. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Crystal Coach Show. I'm your host, Anahata, and I'm so grateful that you're here and you're listening. We're going to be talking about tough subject because it's tough times for a tough subject. I mean, I thought about this a couple of months ago, and it just keeps getting more and more relevant that every time you look, there's something different. There's something's happened that's more negative, more fear-based, more pulling you out of your everyday. And there's just a lot of collective concern and chaos going on in the world right now, and especially within the United States of America. Not so united anymore. So what I really want to talk about is how in this time of uncertainty and fear, it's really easy, isn't it, to drop into that worst case scenario. It's like breathing. Your mind, your thoughts just go into that worst case scenario. And that negative voice in you, it's that doom and gloom all the time, and it just gets louder and louder in your head. And that inner critic says there's nothing you can do about it, and you're powerless and you're helpless, and oh my goodness. I mean, it's like you feel like you're paralyzed and you can't even control your own life. I see that in myself. I see that in my clients. I see that in my friends. And I see that playing out in the world. I mean, you look on social media, look on the news, it's just everywhere. It's all around us. And there's a lot of background, it feels to me like background fear-based manipulation going on to try to control the narrative of what people are thinking. And so I think it's time that we gave ourselves a dose of tough love, because you know what? You can get into that kind of mindset and energy and feel stuck in that, and almost like you can't pull yourself out of it. And it's time for you to, like jerk yourself up and put some cold water on your face, slap yourself silly, and get back in your body. Because what's happening is you're using all of your mental body and you're not really being present for yourself or anybody else. And you're actually, the energy that you're putting out into the collective is starting to help bring that which you really do not want, the worst case scenario, into reality. Do we really want that? No, nobody wants that. Nobody wants war. Nobody wants murder, mass murder. We don't want, we don't want violence. And yet here it is, right? Looking at us, staring us in the face. So this episode, I'm just going to throw out some things that I've run across in my personal life, as well as some client-based insights on how to really kind of avoid this trap of negative thinking by calling in love and grace and holding space for the highest and best outcome, whatever's in the highest and best good. I mean, we need this kind of chaos and conflict and discomfort to really change, to transform what was into what can be a more beautiful unified field of love, and everyone singing that beautiful frequency of love. I I had some guests on my last program who really advocate for this frequency of hue, and I've been practicing it myself. And it really does help to feel like you can open yourself up to all there is, but yet you're grounded in your body. So this episode's really just about helping you get some ideas on how to pull yourself out of that state. Catch yourself, stop, drop, and roll. Remember, I talk about that. You catch yourself in that negative thought. You've got a few seconds to erase that. You know, you can do the etch a sketch, kind of shake your head. No, that's not what I was wanting to think. That's not where my energy needs to be. And reframe it, and to talk about what more of a positive thing that you'd like to see as an outcome, not what you fear is the worst case scenario. Does that make sense? So how do you recognize when you are in fear or have that fear-based or negative thinking? The physical symptoms of fear are, you get that really kind of clenched feeling in your gut. Your shoulders get tense, and you feel kind of sick to your stomach. Your stomach may turn over. You might get, kind of shivers, or, you just kind of, you kind of panic. There's like this feeling of panic, like I need to run and hide, because what's happening is that trigger in your brain that is saying, you have to survive. you know you're in danger, there's a hormone that's secreted and you're in danger. And that's what fear feels like. It's actually visceral. It's something that just moves through your physical body, so that that's happening. But then you're stuck in this mind whirlwind, this kind of thing that's a loop, like this negative loop that just keeps going on and on and on. And everything that you're thinking has a fear-based outcome. Everything. And that's how you can that physical feeling of fear. And then when you just can't think of anything positive, that's when you can call yourself out. That's the tough love I'm talking about. That's like, no, damn it, that's not what I want to be thinking about. I want to feel more in alignment with who I am. I had the privilege of the spiritual services yesterday. I was listening to the pastor speak about belonging, and she was bringing in some really useful quotes from Brene Brown and some others about what's been happening in our world with the digital age. You can be anywhere. We would be born and we'd grow up, and maybe we would travel a little bit, but we would always kind of stay in this community that we knew. We recognized everybody, and there were different people in our communities, and we always knew and we interacted with different people, and we heard different ideas, and we had exposure to different ways of thinking about things and different cultures. And now people are literally moving to areas of the United States. I mean, there's been some research done on this. People are literally moving to areas of the United States that have that people feel, oh, these are my people. So it's no longer a place. Where are you from is no longer a place. It's where do I feel I belong? Where do I feel I connect? And on some level, that's good, but on another level, you have just encased yourself in an echo chamber. You have cut off yourself from other ways of thinking about things, of other ways of doing things, of other ways of believing things, of other ways of seeing the world. That's what's creating this division in our country is that people, even if it's online or if it's a physical location, people are actually choosing communities and choosing a group based on whether or not they believe the same things that we do. And so it's a fractalized kind of living, and everybody's in their own little world, in their own little bubble, and not really wanting to see anything else. Well, that's what's really causing this divide, this fracturing of the united aspect of the States of America. Now, the rise of artificial intelligence, that's another point that I wanted to talk about, because I see this, especially in social media, I see this as, this is a tool that is not being used for good. It is being used to continue to foment, to build up fear. It's the perpetuation of fear. And these things, the AI is being used is to present people or ideas that, or even quotes that are taken completely out of context. And this is not what the people were talking about, but it's being used to validate positions. Excuse me. Validate positions about political perspectives or religious beliefs or cultural values or any of that. We used to have, I mean, I come from a generation that was, the cultural dogma of the place that you grew up was very present. But I left as soon as I could, because I would never felt like I belonged. I never felt like I fit into that paradigm. And through travel, I have been exposed to so much and so many new ideas and new ways. And it lends you a better perspective of how vast and beautiful this world really is. So when you have these negative thoughts that are being perpetuated everywhere you turn, if you learn to recognize them, then you can dispel them. And I'm going to talk to you about ways in which we, methods in which we can do those things, and give you some tips. And as usual, I'm going to be talking at the end about some stones that will also support releasing negative emotion, releasing negative energy, helping you feel more connected to love and to the earth, and really kind of get integrated as a soul into the body. So I'm going to take a real short break, but when I come back, we're going to talk about why tough love is needed right now more than ever, and get going. So don't go away. Come on back. We'll be right back. Hi there. Welcome back to the Crystal Coach Show. I'm your host, Anahata, and we're talking about tough times calling for tough love. So why is tough love needed? I define tough love as it's a place that you are in, you really care about yourself or another person. But usually tough love is talked about with when you need to do something in a relationship with either a child or a parent or a spouse or whatever that is doing harm to themselves, and you need to kind of like slap them out of it. Not literally, but challenge them in a way that's loving but firm, and like draw a line in the sand and saying, I am no longer available to assist you in this way. You need to work on this for yourself, kind of a thing. So why not move that inward? And so you're catching yourself being afraid of the future. That's anxiety. Or depressed. That's like trying to hold on to what was. How about being fully present for yourself and stop projecting? Because guess what? When you're projecting, and I said this at the beginning, when you project this worst case scenario in your mind and in your energy is projecting that out into the collective, that's how this is shaping our reality. It's getting worse instead of better every day, because more and more people are putting this fear-based energy of panic and oh my God, and all of this sort of stuff out there in the worst case scenarios. So it's time to go, wait, stop, draw the line in the sand for yourself. Practice tough love on yourself. Listen, control is an illusion. It's an illusion. There's no such thing as someone else controlling you. You control you. So you can say, oh yeah, but sorry, not listening to that. Ultimately, you are responsible for you and nobody else. You are the one that's responsible for how you react to whatever else is going on around you. You are responsible. You cannot blame anyone or anything outside of you for how you are reacting to it. It's a big difference. I didn't say you can't blame somebody for what's going on. I mean, there's some decisions that have been made outside your pay grade, my pay grade, that are affecting a lot of people very negatively. And I'm not trying to say that that's their fault. It's not. But what I am saying is how you choose to react, to feel about these things that are happening in the world and happening within this country, my country. That's what I'm talking about. Choosing, instead of fear, to see this in a way that, well, let's just say from the perspective of, we cannot know what the future is going to bring. We can't know how this is all going to unfold. It may seem that there's this kind of plan about how things are going to unfold, and there's actions that are being taken to support this plan. But that doesn't mean that the plan is going to be successful. It doesn't mean that the plan is going to be achieved. Do you see what I'm saying? You need to see it as from the perspective of, hey, we're living in the present here, and things around are kind of like, wow, things are really shifting for us, aren't they? But we don't have to put our minds in that endpoint of what would happen if. That's the choice that we have. We can choose how to perceive what's going on around us. Do you want to stay in the cyclone? You want to just keep going around and around in this horrible, turbulent wheel? Or do you want to stay in the center and just allow for things to, just say, we cannot know how this is going to turn out. So let's hold space for the highest and best good, not the worst. In my client work, I have seen this again and again in myself. I mean, I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you all about this subject if I hadn't already worked my way through this, because it is intense. It's really amazing how in my lifetime, I never would have imagined the things that are going on right now. Never. But they're here and they're doing, and but as I say, we cannot know what the true outcome is going to be. And so why project that? Why add to that energy in the collective to bring it to us? It doesn't make sense. Hold space for whatever's in the highest and best good. Does that make sense? Okay. Well, even when we're using tough love on ourselves and we're we're holding ourselves accountable for where we place our thoughts, and we're catching ourselves when we do that. I mean, this is going to take practice, people. This is not a one-off thing. This is something that you need to start doing daily. Catching yourself on what you're thinking about, and also catching yourself whether or not you are in that bubble, either on social media or on whatever kind of news information medium that you are attuned to. Are you just completely like sucked in? Are you scrolling that? Are you watching this stuff all day, every day? Or it's like every time you get a moment, you're reading some other kind of outrageous thing? That doesn't, that's crossing the line. Make a promise with yourself. Give yourself some tough love. I will not do this. I'm going to limit my intake of either social media or news media platforms to, once a day, once a week, whatever. But don't just immerse yourself in stuff that's not even true. I mean, fact check, fact check, fact check. It's hard work. You'd much rather sit back and say, somebody's telling me that I should be outraged, so I'm outraged. Bull cookies. You get to decide. You don't need to have somebody tell you to be outraged. You don't need somebody to tell you that, look over here because look how bad this is, when this is the thing that needs to be looked at. Because a lot of stuff that's playing out right now feels to me like the Wizard of Oz. You remember when Dorothy and the lion and all of her folks, the Scarecrow and the Tin Man, they all went to Emerald City and they got an audience with the Mighty Oz. And Toto found a curtain and saw some shoes. Because in front where they were standing, there was this kind of alien looking head going, I am the Mighty Oz, right? And Toto, the little dog, goes around and finds the shoes and lifts the curtains and pulls it back. And the man is moving levers and he's looking around and he sees that they see him. And he's like, pulls the curtain back and has the big image say, pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. That's what's going on, people. There's a man behind the curtain telling us what we need to think and what we need to see. But that's because there's something else they don't want us to see. Open your eyes, open your mind. You get to choose. You get to choose. No one else. You get to choose how you react to this, how you respond. Are you going to be someone who doesn't feel that they can make up their own mind, that they need to be told what to do or how to think? I'm sorry. You need tough love. And this is for every end of the spectrum. I'm not talking to any one particular party. I am talking about the whole end of the spectrum. You get to decide how you are going to respond. You don't need somebody else to tell you. Listen to your heart. What does your heart say? Forget about the head. Forget about the ego that wants to be offended. What does the heart say? And give yourself some grace, for heaven's sake. This is tough out there. It's tough everywhere. The energy that's being bombarded on us from the sun and all the other stuff that's going on, that's really what is making a lot of people crazy. Crazy acting, crazy thinking. It can be a crazy maker. I mean, I've experienced it. But you need to stop, drop, and roll. You catch yourself in that. Stop, drop, and roll. Get into your body. Maybe if you have too much here, you know, I the stones I got for you. Okay. There's a lot of ways that the mineral kingdom can help you. But right now, I want to talk to you about is just how to immediately respond when you catch yourself that way. I mean, there's plenty of ways, mindfulness, grounding, you know, that these are things that you need to do when you catch yourself in a kind of a whirlpool or just like a cycle, a spinning wheel up there in your head. Stop. Take one focused breath. One is all it takes. 3 makes it really good, but 1. If everything's screaming up there and going bananas, stop. Sit. Feel your sit bones on the seat. They're there. If you want the anatomical reference, it's your tubular ischias. I knew it. Tubular ischias. I can't say it. I'm sexy. Anyway, there are 2 sits bones right under you that are on either side of your, pelvic area. And they support you when you sit. I'm never going to get it while I'm on live anyway. It's okay. Feel that. Feel that weight on your bones and on your bottom. Okay? Then close your eyes. We're going to ground. 1 breath. Close your eyes and mindfully focus on nothing else but breathing. So you focus on breathing in through your nose, not your mouth, through your nose. 1 really big breath. So focus. Hold it. Count of 3 or 4. Then let it out. Like you're blowing through a straw. That 1 breath, because you've given your brain something to do aside from panicking. You've given your brain by just being mindful about that breath, you've given your brain a task. And so it quiets all that chatter. If you do this for 3 breaths, you'll be able to open your eyes and say, okay, I can move on. That moment of panic, that moment of anxiety is calm now. This is the way. The Tibetan monks use this. That's how I learned this. This is a very simple way to just breathe yourself back into your body. Sure, it helps to have stones and stuff with you. But if you don't have access to a stone, you do have access to your breath. So mindful breathing, focused breathing, even if it's just 1 breath. But remember, you have to kind of claim your seat. Feel the weight of your feet on the floor. Be present for your knees and your hips. What you're doing is you're taking the energy and the attention into the lower part of your body and out of the head. And once you've gotten yourself kind of aware of your body, then you close your eyes. Then you focus on breathing in with your nose holding for 3 or 4 counts, and then breathing out as much as you possibly can breathe out. And if you want to do that again, then you'll have plenty of place for the air to breathe in and fill up your lungs, and hold that, and then breathe out like I'm breathing through the slow, all the way out. And as you're breathing out, maybe if you're doing this more than once, breathing out and you're feeling like everything that you've been holding on to, all that panic and everything else is coming out. Just you're letting it go with a breath. And by the time you're in the 3rd round of this, the last breath is really going to clear everything out. So you don't have to sit and meditate for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 15, 10. One breath will get you enough back in your body that you can at least, it's like you've broken the connection. You've kind of broken that cord, that current. You've broken the current when you just take that one focused breath. Then you can practice. I mean, there's all kinds of ways to release, there's ceremonies, there's rituals that you can do to let go of things that are no longer serving you. You can burn a candle that represents something. You can do like a thread. You can tie it on one side of a door, and you tie it on another side, and this side represents what you want to let go, and this side represents what you want to bring in. Those kinds of things, and you burn the cord, and it's up to you totally. You can go on social media and find out all those ways that you can do those things. And I'm not here to tell you that one way is better than another. But there are ways of ritualistically letting go of things that you don't want to carry with you. These would be like thoughts, right? I just recently was certified as a neuro-linguistic programming coach. And in my studies for this, there were some tips about how to, without going into a really long process, how to just look at things in a new way. So if you're thinking a negative thought, like, oh, I have to do this and I don't want to, and it's horrible and I hate it and blah, blah, blah. If you can stop yourself, again, with that stop, drop, and roll, you aware of when you get this negative thought, then you can maybe reframe it and say, wait a minute, I get to do this. I get to do this because it's going to benefit X, Y, and Z, right? However you want to look at it, go from I have to I get to. And see how that shifts for you. It shifts the energy substantially, and helps you to kind of get a new perspective on what you were struggling with before. There's other ways to kind of like take memories and stuff that are haunting you, and shrink them down and get rid of them. But if you ever wanted to know any more about that, you can certainly reach out to me, and I'll be happy to share that with you in a consultation call. They're free. So, but anyway, that's what I was trying to get to you, is that there's immediate ways that you can look at things. You can get yourself kind of in a better space. You can break that current of negativity that's kind of like spinning your mind out of the control. And we're going to take another little break. And when we come back, we're going to start talking about all the stones that you could use that would support a lot of different ways to feel more in that place of neutrality rather than fear. Okay, we'll be right back. Hi there, welcome back again to the Crystal Coach Show. I'm Anahata, your host, and we're talking about tough love in tough times, and what kinds of stones are going to be used or can be used to support your efforts to hold yourself accountable, um, to call yourself out, to really love and respect yourself, as well as just calming fear-based thoughts and negative stuff. I mean, there's just a plethora of minerals that we could have pulled out. I mean, I could have literally pulled out 50 stones and talked about each one of them. I cut that down, cut that down considerably, but still, it's more than just a couple. So if you are one of those people that like to take notes at the end of the Crystal Coach show, get out your paper, because I'm going to be talking about a lot of different new ones, as well as some old ones that you're already familiar with. But so the first one is for anxiety. This is called Andalusite. Andalusite is this brownish stone that has a distinctive, all the way through it, it's got this black kind of linear cross here. And so that's how X marks the spot, that this is the right stone. This is Andalusite, or another name for this is chiasoite. And Andalusite has a lot of really wonderful properties. It's a storm element, so it helps with change and transformation. Haha. So in particular, I call this my chakra dynamite, because it will just kind of break up whatever dense energy is there that's kind of holding things in place, right? Stuck, right? Anxiety, for example. Anxiety is that fear of the future, and that's the deer in headlights. I'm paralyzed, I can't do anything, I'm so afraid. So chiasoite, andalusite can help you, when you work with it, can help you get past that, blow up that feeling of being stuck and unable to move. Okay, and that's for anxiety. Right, there you go. Now the next one is barite. Barite comes in different colors. This one's a light bluish color. It has it's kind of an interesting mineral composition. It's got lead in it. It's kind of heavy, but this helps you to release negative attachments. So emotional attachments to a negative thought or a negative idea or a negative concept or a negative way of seeing things. Remember, I talked about you have a choice. You have to, or you get to, right? So the get to is much more of a positive reframe than I have to, and it's awful, right? So barite's really good to work with when that's your main concern and you really want to have some support in helping you to either recognize or to both recognize and release those kinds of attachments, emotional attachments to negativity. Okay, that's barite. Barite. Andalusite. I didn't spell that for you, did I? Andalusite. Andalusite. No, it's Dalusite. Andalusite. Another thing that is good for releasing negative attachments is clear quartz. Clear quartz is about clarity. So if it has, I mean, it amplifies whatever it's next to. You want to use that together with barite, it's going to amplify the barite's frequencies of cutting those cords of negative emotional attachment. Okay, so this is a good pairing. Green calcite. Green calcite, it's really pretty. It's kind of a translucent stone. It's always got a kind of like a waxy appearance. All calcites, there's lots of different colors of calcites. They all have kind of a waxy appearance. And green calcite is really good at helping you to release emotions that are stuck. Whether that's guilt, shame, or fear, or guilt, or or just the fear of the unknown, because this works with the heart chakra. It's green. So what you're holding in your heart that's stuck, that's not helping you move forward. It's emotional release. So it really helps to bring things into balance. Okay. That's green calcite, Calcite. Now, here's smithsonite, Smithsonite, smithsonite. Smithsonite comes in a lot of different colors too. I have a piece up that's purple, and it is really soothing to the emotional body. I have a lot of times I'll find that clients that come in for a crystal resonance therapy session that are struggling with a lot of emotional stuff will have your bodies will call for the smithsonite on their heart chakra, which is, it's kind of like this real kind of like a balm on that chakra to help it just feel better and heal and take the pain. It's it's a lovely, lovely stone, and it's, I think, often misunderstood and overlooked. Um, Let me see. Okay, now I've talked to you about this before. We have aquamarine, because aquamarine is the release stone. It's watery, it's that water element, and it helps you just like it's like dumping a bucket of water over your emotional body. Just release, release, release. So that, if you just hold a piece of aquamarine and ask for it to help you release from your body. And especially if you hold it outside in nature, like put your feet, naked feet, take your shoes and socks off, put your feet on the ground near a tree, put your back on a tree and put your feet on the ground in between the roots and hold that and ask for anything that is not in your highest and best good emotionally and mentally to be released into the earth. Whoa. That is a huge, I mean, that's very powerful. Try it. It's very powerful. Uh Another one that's um I've talked to you before about is hematite. This is a raw piece of hematite. I've shown you some more polished pieces, but this is raw, but you can see the polishing there. And it's the be here now stone. So we're talking about grounding and getting grounded and being in your body and being present. And hematite does that for you. It is be here now, and it helps you to really manifest your light in the world, because fear dims our light. It wants to shut our light down. But hematite will help us to be more at home in our bodies and share the light that we are. Everyone has this beautiful light that we reflect to other people. And it doesn't matter how much you've endured and how much you think that light has been damped down or broken. You're not broken. You're not broken. Hematite, be here now. Last but not least, no, penultimate. Black tourmaline, my go-to, is always a good one, because it transmutes negativity to clear light, and it grounds, and it just feels so daggum good. You just hold on to it and go, oh yeah, just take it away, because it just goes, sucks it right on out. So cool. All right, last but not least, rose quartz. Anything that has to do with the emotional body and love. Loving yourself, respecting your boundaries, being protective of yourself. Anytime you need some go-to love, rose quartz is there to give it to you. You're not alone, and you're not unloved. One of the things I'm referred to the Sunday spiritual service that I was at on yesterday, and there was a song that we sang. It was you belong to this body, you belong to the earth, you belong, you belong, you belong. It was actually I belong and you belong and then we belong. it's just we're all worthy of being seen and our dignity and showing up as humans. All of us have value. All of us are worthy. There is no one on this planet that has more or less than you do in terms of value. Remember that. It's not last. Honey calcite, emotional healing. Just, it's so nice to hold on to. It feels like a warm bath. It just feels like a hug. So honey calcite that's the rogue. That's one of the ones that kind of hopped in and said, me, after I'd already gathered up the ones that I'd wanted to do. So anyway, that's what I wanted to talk to you today about. And I hope that you got something out of it. If you have any questions, or if you have feeling a call to talk to me or work with me, I'm at thecrystalcoach.com. You can book a free consult, or you can reach out to me by email at mycrystalcoach@gmail.com. Until next time, we'll see you on the Crystal Coach Show. Bye for now.
You have been listening to The Crystal Coach Show, helping you live every day with clarity, guidance, and practical wisdom. With me, your host, Anahata. Tune in every first and third Monday at 10 a.m. Pacific Time on TransformationTalkRadio.com, where we channel divine wisdom through stories of service, spirituality, and stones for self-care. Feel connected and reside in the vibration of love on The Crystal Coach Show. For more information and to become the best version of yourself, visit thecrystalcoach.com. That's thecrystalcoach.com. See you next time.